The Crimson Tide.
Off to the inside, intercepted Alabama. Touchdown run.
And everything college and high school sports. Now, let's join Andy, Brett, Randy, and Luke for this edition of Sports Blitz Live.
What's up, everybody? Good Tuesday evening out there to everybody, and welcome into Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Glad that you've joined us here on this Tuesday night as we head into a lot of graduations. Your son already graduated.
He did. He's already done.
And you know, in our local area, high schools will be graduating this week. And my son will be graduating on Friday night. It's kind of surreal, but here we are, Luke, and it's that time of year as sports kind of wind down. We've just had the baseball championships, and we'll talk a little bit about who won the state titles in baseball. We got softball going on right now up in Oxford. Chocolaco Park hosted the baseball and the softball state championships. A little bit of a conflict with Montgomery this year. Don't know if they'll keep it in Oxford. I know there's a lot of people that were very excited about having the event up there. It's a very beautiful venue facility. So we'll kind of see if that continues to be a place that they have it. But I don't know if you've ever been up there before. I have. It's a gorgeous facility and just a really, really nice place. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We're a sports show, and obviously that's what we're going to concentrate on 99.9% of the time. But I would be remiss, and we would be numb to the fact to not come on there and say, once again, we've had another horrific tragedy in our country. And, we all have kids, and we turn them loose every day, and we just assume everything is going to be fine. And that's what happened for apparently now 21 plus kids and their parents this morning out in Texas when they turned their kids loose at Robb Elementary School in Texas. They just thought it was another day, and now you got parents and grandparents and whoever else that'll never see those children alive again. It's just horrible. I mean, it just makes you sick. And then the one thing, no more than an hour or two after something like this happens, the politics start to creep in again, and you get both sides, firing back and forth about, banning firearms and assault rifles and whatever you want to say. Well, this was a handgun and a rifle. This was not an AR. This is not – I'm not going to get into the political side of it, but I'm just saying that, people just want to go out and have an opinion and say, we just need to take up all fire. And it's almost like, it's never the ones that are responsible and that are good stewards of things that ever do anything bad. It's always people that have a problem or go crazy or whatever. They get their hand. And so people like that are going to find a way anyway. Banning stuff only hurts the people that try to do it the right way and to try to protect themselves and all that. But I'm not going to go down that road. My thoughts and prayers go out because I do serve on a school board as well, and I pray and hope that we never, ever have to experience anything like that, Luke, personally for us. I hope we never have to experience anything like that. But, it kind of awakens you to the world we live in now. It's just everything just seems to be screwed up. I mean, I hate to be that way, but what it feels like.
Yeah, and look, I do get the knee-jerk reaction to some of this. I'm not a gun owner, and I don't hunt. I don't shoot for sport in any way. Right. But at the same time, I've always been leaning more to the side of gun ownership because I do happen to believe most people who own guns, the vast majority, are responsible. But I get the anger when you see something like this. But as you said, this is a handgun and a rifle, and even if you had passed some incredible law saying, here we go, you can't buy any more of this or this model.
Wouldn't have prevented this.
It probably wouldn't have prevented this. And then what's next? If somebody drives into a crowd during a parade, which we've seen,
you ban
do you ban automobiles? I mean, sometimes we all just have to take chances. And I think I hate that it always turns to something like this. And the first thing I noticed all over Twitter was, oh my God, this is happening. And then here come the celebrity. We've had enough. This should be our signal. No, without turning it into something, let's just have a moment and let those families mourn.
I'm telling you, it's not within an hour or 45 minutes of something happening. You get all these stances and this, that, and the other, and we almost even forget that the event even happened. It turns into something political. I hate it that it has to be that way, but I think you said it best. Like I said earlier, that the responsible people, vast majority, are going to do the right thing and follow the law. It's like somebody, we don't really deal with suicide bombers over here in Oak. We never do, but over in the Middle East, I mean, there's really not a lot you can do to defend yourself against somebody that's willing to strap explosives on themselves and walk in a crowded place and blow themselves up. I mean, there's really you're just at the mercy of whatever that situation is. And the same goes with somebody that knows when they do what they're about to do and walk into school, that they know that they're probably going to get shot and killed and they're going to be taken out, but their goal is to take as many people out before that happens as possible. And there's really there's no preparation or anything you can do to prevent that. I mean, you can do precautionary things and you put procedures and policies in place and all, but but at some point in time, if somebody really wants to do something, they're gonna figure out how to do it. And so we just gotta be more diligent, I guess, and be more aware that this kind of stuff happens, man.
I mean, I look at it a lot like the security at airports. I've been flying a lot recently, and
recently,
yeah. I mean, my whole life,
30 years.
But and I've gotten to a point where it's like, how much more checking can y'all do? And I know that we have certainly had the most heinous attack on our soil was 9/11.
Right.
But we really haven't had. We've done a great job of security since then, but how much of it is a little bit overkill? And I feel like the same thing in this situation. I think the real question is, what would drive somebody to do something like this? And everybody can say, well, okay, now we can talk about mental health, but boy, I don't know if you ever get to somebody to stop something like this. And the problem is, a lot of times in this situation like this one, this guy killed himself afterwards. So,
or was shot by an officer. I don't know.
I think he killed himself.
Heard conflicting reports.
There are reports out there. I think he killed himself. So we'll never know the motivation behind it. Now, even if he has a manifesto or whatever, that may be misleading. We will never know from him what tell us what the motivation is to go to an elementary school. Because,
well, first of all, to shoot your own grandmother.
Yeah.
And then go and do this. And when you start to dig into people's past, and you start to see maybe what the root cause of making someone go to this type of extreme, you find out that something was a trigger mechanism at some point in time, and a lot of anger, a lot of angst build up to the point it just boils over. And sometimes things get caught before they get to that point. And there's probably more situations that are thwarted every year that we don't even know about that could be this, but there's going to be things that slip through the cracks, and you try to combat that as much as you can. But
here's the other side of it, Brett. Do we start making it where every student in an elementary school and every parent that brings that student to the front door, do they all have to go through metal detectors all the time?
Well, see, and this was not even the case of a student at that particular school. This was a random 18-year-old kid that wanders into the school. And so there have been precautionary measures that have been put into play for a lot of schools. I know that, doors are locked and you have to show ID in a lot of these places to get in. And that helps. That prevents a lot of things if you lock the doors. And but all it takes is one door somewhere on campus to be left unattended or propped open, or somebody comes in a place and he looks like a student or he looks like he's supposed to be there, and somebody just casually lets him in. There's not 100%, protectionary measures that you can put in place. I don't know how this guy got in. I'm sure that this elementary school has procedures and things that they have to go through as well, but apparently he got in somehow and did a lot of harm. So we can go into a lot of different things. I just wanted to bring that up and say that now the count is up to 21. It's just a horrible situation because again, we can kind of relate that we have kids that we drop them off, and it doesn't matter what part of the country that you live in. It only takes one guy or girl or somebody that's crazy to do something like this, and a community is scarred for the rest of their life. And
just think, you'll never hear these names again without thinking about that. Columbine, Sandy Hook.
That's right.
You'll never hear those names again without thinking about this situation. This is completely unrelated, but it's sort of the same thing in a sense. A young man, I think he was from Louisiana, was on vacation. They stopped one night, the other night in Orange Beach. A young man that was 14 years old, out walking in the surf with his dad, and the undertow was very bad. Swept him away. His dad lost his grip on him, and they have not found the body since. And my wife and 5-year-old are down at Orange Beach right now. She said, "This just scares me all." And I agree, it's scary. At the same time, my first thought was, I'm still going to go in the ocean.
Right.
I'm still going to let Sela go in the ocean. And I still hope everybody goes to school. I hope that we all have counseling for everybody that was forced to that. But I think you
can't stop living life.
You've got to keep going on. And I hate that it makes us, these people try to make us fearful of the everyday and the mundane. And I feel like if we let them do that, they are winning. Now, this is a tragedy. This is god-awful. I can't imagine being the parent of one of those children. I'd be just devastated. But I think that in the end, the way you begin to heal is you continue to move forward, and you give those people as much compassion and love and support as you can, without trying to force some kind of narrative down their throats right now, especially because, frankly, I wouldn't want to hear any celebrity give me any advice or in any direction right now. I would just want somebody to give me a hug,
Right. There's nothing they could say to make the situation better. So up against our first break of the program, you can call us 256-234-6221 to be part of the program. You can comment away on Facebook Live. Our Facebook page is Sports Blitz, that's sports with a Z, and a lot of you communicate with us that way, and we look forward to that each and every week. So stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live coming your way right after this.
Farmers and Merchants Bank of Dadeville is building a foundation of strength and trust in the entire Lake Martin community. With our modern branch in Dadeville and caring, attentive staff, we've established Farmers and Merchants Bank as a reliable friend to your banking needs. Whether it's just a savings or checking account or any commercial, auto, or real estate loan, Farmers has local decision-making to build a relationship with you and your needs. Farmers and Merchants Community Bank. Strength, service, community.
What's the verdict?
Can't fix your heat pump. Need a new one.
Uh-oh. What are you thinking?
I'm thinking Daikin.
Call on Kevin Kill and Sunshine Heating and Air at 256-825-4849, Central Alabama's premier Daikin dealer.
So what's he thinking?
Oh, he's thinking Daikin.
Daikin, one of the top selling in the world.
Now I'm thinking Daikin.
Daikin. Comfort for life.
Russell Do-It Center and building supply stores have the tools and materials to get the job done right, whether you're a professional contractor or just a weekend do-it-yourselfer. With everyday customer conveniences like a drive-through lumberyard, price match promise, and our Best Rewards program, each of our 9 locations offer top brands and building materials like lumber, hardware, tools, paint, lawn and garden, and much more. Visit today and see what Russell Do-It Center and Building Supply can help you build tomorrow.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Don't be caught in a dirty vehicle. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing will have your vehicle or boat looking like brand new in no time, and you'll be back driving in style. They specialize in detailing, paint correction, gel coat restoration, and ceramic coating. Take it to the professionals at Lake Martin Mobile Detailing. Call them today at 256-794-2328 or stop by and see them at 702 McCarty Road in Dadeville. Mention this ad and receive $10 off. Lake Martin Mobile Detailing for your cleanest vehicles around.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Can't thank both of them enough for what they've been to us as far as our programming, corporate partners for a long time, and great establishments, great businesses, great people behind those businesses. And you know what makes a great business? You got to get great people.
It helps.
Behind them. So we've got two great ones in JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. We will kind of move on from what we just opened up with that tragic shooting in Texas, kind of shift gears and get into our sports talk. This is week 2 of Fisher versus Saban. We've got the SEC playoff discussion that has been taking place in SEC meetings. We'll talk about that. The SEC tournament's underway. Really the only game that we've been able to get completed to this point is Alabama and Georgia. Alabama moves on, gets into the double elimination bracket by knocking off Georgia. It may be a little bit of surprise for some people, but Alabama has had flashes all year of being a really good baseball team. They kind of hit some skids over the last couple of weeks, but ended up getting some victories over Arkansas and kind of carried a little momentum into this SEC tournament, which showed today by knocking off Georgia. Auburn was supposed to play later tonight. They were so behind with all the rain that they'll move Auburn's game till tomorrow morning.
I assume they'll move the other game tomorrow morning too. I mean,
well, this still scheduled for a little bit
o'clock?
a little bit later if they can get it in, but we'll see. I don't know if they will or not, but regardless, Auburn will be in action tomorrow. Alabama's already punched their ticket to the double elimination. And look, it's always good for Alabama and Auburn to be in this tournament. I mean, this tournament's in Hoover. It makes it so much better as far as I know attendance. It's always a well-attended tournament, but when you got Alabama and Auburn in there, you got your 2 in-state schools. You're going to draw people that otherwise may say, I'll just watch this on TV.
I think if Hoover had their way, they'd like Alabama, Auburn, LSU, and Mississippi State. And, of course, Mississippi State's not in it. LSU is an okay squad this year.
Right.
Alabama, mediocre or just below. Auburn, mediocre or just above. So they got 3 of the 4, but they certainly would like it better with those 4 because I think Mississippi State travels very well.
And it's close.
It's close. Alabama and Auburn both in state, and then LSU travels no matter what.
I bet Tennessee will travel this year.
Tennessee will travel this year. There's no doubt in my mind about that.
Just a rabid, just starved for something to pull for. And, I think if you had to grade Tennessee's athletic program right now, of course, going into football season, we'll just have to wait and see. But, basketball, I know they went out in the first round again, but it seems like that's what Barnes does. But nevertheless, they still are a very competitive at the top of the heap in the SEC and as far as men's basketball, their women's basketball teams. Not what it used to be, but it's still pretty good. Their softball program is really good. Their baseball program's maybe the best in the country this year. I'm not sure, over the long haul, but this year for sure they're head and shoulders above everybody else. I mean, right now, to me, Tennessee's kind of trending upwards.
Yeah, now their softball team just did get ousted, but most of the SEC
But most of the SEC did. It's an off year, really.
It really is an off year for the SEC. I think their programs are okay.
I think they're trending way up comparable to what they've been. I mean,
yeah, they
baseball,
there's no doubt.
Baseball sucked. Football hadn't been worth.
You got to feel pretty good about it. They're
Right.
certainly a far cry from where they want to be, but the baseball program this year at least is certainly top notch. But I want to go back to this Saban Jimbo Fisher thing because it does still continue to get interesting. Today, Alabama got a commitment from Eli Holstein, who is one of the top 4 or 5 quarterbacks in the country, and I think he'll actually move up. I love this guy. I'd been saying all along that Alabama was not really choosing between he and Arch Manning, but Alabama had given the green light to these 2 quarterbacks. Whichever one wants to commit first, more power to them. I think Alabama would not split necessarily, but felt very comfortable with either one of them if they wanted to commit. Eli Holstein was committed to Texas A&M for quite some time. He's kind of a bigger quarterback. If you want a comparison in terms of size and what he's like, I would say Josh Allen's a good comparison. He's big. He's mobile. He just had some unbelievable, record-breaking numbers at one of the combines or maybe even the Elite 11 combine in terms of agility drills, et cetera. He's got a lot of positives, and he's won a state championship, and he's played in a much bigger classification than Archie Manning. The one thing obviously when you're a Manning, though, you're a Manning, and you feel like they've probably been sprinkled with football greatness since birth just through their DNA. But what's going to be really interesting now is Eli Holstein's going to Alabama, and it looks like that's going to be pretty solidified. Like Holstein's been waiting for a while he's been biding his time since he decommitted for A&M, but he feels pretty locked in right now. So where does that leave Archie Manning, who is the most recognizable name in this class? There's no doubt about it. A lot of people think he'll end up at either Texas, Georgia, Florida, maybe on the outside looking in, but maybe Florida moves into that 3 spot now if it is vacated by Alabama. Although I would say this, it would be incredibly unlikely for Archie to commit to Alabama with Eli already there, but I wouldn't say the door is completely closed, but nobody should have their hopes up about it. In the end, I think Arch probably ends up at Texas, which is interesting because then next year Alabama and Texas play each other. Or Texas will be coming in Tuscaloosa. It could literally be Eli, maybe their apparent to Bryce Young, playing for his team, and Arch, who could be the starter for Texas coming in and playing for his team. That would be very interesting. Or Arch could go to Georgia, which would be pretty unbelievable. It's a school that has not been developing quarterbacks all too terribly well since Matthew Stafford. And but boy, you talk about getting some name power, some name recognition on that campus very, very quickly. I mean, they've had some stars of late. A lot of people going way high in the draft, but a lot of them have been, they had a number 1 pick this year. But Trayvon Walker's sort of a defensive end / linebacker kind of guy. He's not going to be a tip of the tongue. We remember him. He was drafted on potential. If you talk Arch Manning, everybody who follows any football is going to know that name, Arch Manning. So that's going to be a lot of fun. And then there's this today that came out from David Hale of ESPN. He tweeted this, and I'll read a series of them. He said, I chatted today with the founder of an NIL agency who shared a pretty interesting story about his early experience in the marketplace. That may perhaps dovetail with Nick Saban's ire. He said, last summer, at the end of August, before football season, we got hired by a media company, this is the guy he was talking to bring in between 6 and 8 SEC football players to do an appearance on their podcast network. We were asked to spend $500 a week for 15 minutes to hire these student athletes to do these podcasts. So they're going to give them about $500 for the 15-minute a week. That's not crazy. That's still really nice money. That's not crazy. We ended up bringing a number of them, Bo Nix being one of them. Bo was paid $500 or $600 a week, and it was like an $8,000, $9,000 deal for the semester. Again, I find that to be very reasonable.
No, there's no doubt about it. No.
It was probably more than what he should have been paid, but nothing crazy. When I called Texas A&M, I spoke to an agent representing 3 or 4 of their players, including one coming in that was a highly recruited kid, so he wasn't there yet. When I offered him this deal, he said, we're going to be getting $5,000 a week to do a 2-minute radio spot on an alumni's radio station in College Station. So, again, I'm for everybody making all the money you can make. But that was Nick Saban's point. The guy who's coming in, who's not on campus, already had a deal for $5,000 to do a 2-minute spot.
Right.
Weekly. And that was what Nick Saban was saying, and I know he said it poorly. I think he said it poorly. I think he could have left some things out. I also think Jimbo Fisher reacted incredibly poorly. And this whole thing sort of got blown up. But now, again, as I said on Saturday, now that the smoke is cleared, I think it's pretty evident Saban was right if you can look past the, sometimes when somebody tells you something you don't want to hear, even if they're right, you can't get past a few things. I think once people get past, calling Texas A&M out and throwing Deion Sanders in there, all that, get past that for a minute. And you see, this is what he's saying. And when you put it that way, the guy kept going on. He said, look, that's when the light bulb went off in my head that this is going to change very quickly. Because if kids are getting paid $50,000 to $100,000 to do radio spots on some radio station in College Station, that's a joke, right? They weren't interested because their market is $5,000, not $500. You can certainly argue that if players can get that kind of money for doing a bunch of 2-minute radio spots, great. But the point is, this agent made was, how long is this sustainable? And that's the whole point.
All right. Okay. We got to get to break, but I do want to say one thing before we go to break and then come back. Is who is shocked by this? But realistically, I don't care what Nick Saban said or what Jimbo Fisher fired back. Did anybody not think that deals were going to be cut before somebody got on campus? What are we doing, people?
We all thought this.
What are we doing? There's never been one time since all of this was announced back whenever that the first thing I thought of was, well, it's just wide open people to go out there and do what they want to do now. And we act shocked. We act shocked when somebody says, no, I've got a better deal and I've already been talking to somebody prior. It's almost like the people that were naive enough to think the transfer portal wasn't going to be tampered with by other players and other coaches. Are you kidding me, man? As soon as that happened, the first thing I thought of was Joe from so-and-so is going to call Jack from so-and-so and say, hey, why don't you come play with me? Y'all suck. We don't. You could help us, and it'll increase your visibility.
Brand awareness.
It's the biggest no-brainer, but we act like we were thinking that we were just all in shock that this is going on when the first case of it came out. It's just unbelievable.
I'm not even sure it's the shock. I think it's that I think what I'm thinking is if I were Jimbo Fisher, I definitely wouldn't have reacted the way he did. I would have been like, yeah, we have a collective, and we're using it. This is our interpretation. And, again, I go back to
he screwed up.
He was very careful in his wording. He said, we follow the state laws.
Now you've got a guy that's been told not to participate in a all-star game in Pennsylvania that's a signee for Texas A&M, and he's pretty much come out and said, or somebody said, he's backtracking now, and he's like, we got people out here trying to take shots, and that's not how it went down. But according to the Pennsylvania High School Athletic Association, the reason he pulled out of the game was he was told by Texas A&M that there would be some type of issue with him getting payment. And it's like some beat writer wrote today, said, if it was before, it's a newsworthy problem. He said, if it's the latter, it's an astronomical problem because he means he's already been, getting the
he's
word.
Already been promised.
That's what I'm saying. So,
or already been paid.
So there's, the guy pulled out of the game for a reason. And I just think that, and I'll say this, we'll get to break. Jimbo Fisher missed a golden opportunity to come out and just say what he needed to say. Instead, he got mad and he just said a bunch of nothing.
He couldn't do that.
But don't go on air.
I know.
Don't get in front of the camera.
That's where he messed up.
Well,
that's where he messed up.
That's exactly right. And Nick Saban was in the wrong too. They both were. I'm not defending either one of them. Again, I go back to my analysis of Nick Saban and monitoring him and watching him and being around him at events and stuff with the HSA and seeing him come in, and it looks like somebody put a cactus down the back of his pants because he don't want to be there. And I'm telling you, and it's not a shot at the World Games or anything else, but I can promise you he cared nothing about being there. And he was already on edge about it. It's just his personality. And then when somebody asks something, it's just like, okay, I'm tired of hearing about this. I'm just going to tell you how I really think. And at the end of the conversation, he probably went,
I still think that way, but I probably shouldn't have said it like that. So, and he since apologized for it, and it is what it is. So, I just think, again, Fisher comes out again this week and says more stuff and kind of doubles down and says this is a bunch of lies and stuff. I don't know where this ends, to be honest.
I think we're just going to have to double up on Brace because I do want to say this, that, see, this is where I'm with you on this. Like, how in the world can you police the transfer portal tampering? You can't, because, see, Jordan Addison's going to USC. Everybody knew he was going to USC. He had to pretend like he was.
Yeah, this was all a game.
He had to pretend.
That's what I'm saying.
But we all knew it, and really,
and what about the kid from Louisville going to Alabama? It's like everybody says, it's like he entered the portal on Friday and he was practicing on Monday.
There's no doubt. See, because the way around it is to have a player call them, not a coach.
Right.
Have a player call them.
Right.
And there's nothing wrong with it, and you can't stop that. So I think what I'm saying is you need to go back to –
there's loopholes.
You need to go back to saying everybody, no matter the situation, has a 1 year – you got to take a year off. That'll stop some of that.
That's right.
And then secondly, we're going to have to get to a place in policing where we don't rely on the NCAA, which has shown it. One day it can say you're staring down the barrel of a gun. The next time you're Will Wade caught on the phone and nobody's going to ever do anything.
And why did it take so long to get to the Will Wade situation? I mean, that should have been handled immediately.
We need to have a set of rules that X amount of teams go by, and we also need to understand the rules that Utah State go by aren't the same rules that Alabama goes by.
No.
The rules that Auburn goes by aren't the same rules as Fresno State, because Auburn and Alabama bring a lot more to the table in terms of brand, in terms of money, than those two. And no offense to Utah State and Fresno State. God bless you.
But it's the truth.
But it's the truth. And I think we've got to get to a point where we self-police in the sense that, other teams know the coaches that are doing certain things. I do think the NCAA came out with a good rule the other day. They said from now on, okay, if there's any kind of thing that goes on, the head coach is responsible. He can't just pull up and say, well, I didn't know about that. You can't do that anymore.
Well, didn't that happen in the basketball? That's where all this came from. There was a rule instated that you cannot play dumb. You cannot play ignorance. Yeah. That's not a defense for something going on in your program, because ultimately they're saying you're the head guy. It's your deal.
And you're making a boatload of money.
And don't give me that. And if you were that out of touch, that's even a bigger problem.
That's what I said about Jimbo Fisher saying he didn't know what his own collective was doing.
Right.
Now, the other thing they said was if a coach gets a school on probation, and that coach, and they say, okay, we're taking away 12 scholarships. And let's say that coach leaves to go coach somewhere else. The loss of scholarships follows him. And I think that's a great idea. From now on, you can't just get a school on probation and go, hey,
he created that.
Yeah.
So
I think that's a great idea.
I don't have a problem with that either. I mean, I think there's a lot of things that are being done reactively that should have all been thought about beforehand, before they turned all the dogs loose out of the kennel. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
But once you let them out, now you got to wrangle them all back in, and now it's not so fun. And then now you've already got $8 million deals cut. I mean, so you're wanting to say that this guy in California hadn't already had communication with Tennessee and already had a deal cut before he got on campus? We all know he did. So, I mean, all of that has no relevancy whatsoever to the fact. And then this is going to lead in to the next thing we're going to talk about here, Luke, because like you said, we'll double up. We're already to the second segment here, so we got a couple more minutes. Is this the meetings that are going on and what's about to happen next week in Destin, Florida, with the talk of an all-SEC playoff? And I think Randy and Andy talked about it a little bit on Auburn Blitz today, and I think I didn't have a chance to comment because I didn't get a chance to see the entire show, but I think Randy missed it a little bit. I don't think he understood that he thought that the SEC was going to have a playoff, decide who goes, and then go to the national. That's not how this thing. He's talking about what the SEC's talking about is they're splitting off from everybody.
Exclusionary.
And which I think is a game changer, because now you look at strengthening all 14 of the programs in this conference, and all of a sudden all the top recruits in the country want to be in this conference. I think there could be a game changer. I'm not saying Vanderbilt's all of a sudden going to start getting 5 stars. I'm saying that the Alabamas and the Georgias will get stronger. I think it will up what Auburn and Texas A&M do. I think LSU will get stronger. I think the strong will just get stronger.
I believe that. I think it's a total negotiating ploy, which I'm down with.
I do too. I don't think it's going to go down.
I don't want it to happen because I do appreciate college football being, for the most part, an American sport. I would miss, as much as I don't like them, I would miss Ohio State. I would miss USC. I would miss Washington. I'd miss.
But it would be a blow
Michigan.
to the. Let's get to break. We'll come back. We'll talk about this some more. Got some comments as well. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Growing your business isn't just one thing. It's a million little things. Should you lease, rent, or own? How fast can you get that part? Does it fit the budget? That's what your local cat dealer is here for. With expert advice, flexible financing, and industry-leading equipment, you can get the job done day after day. Visit ThompsonCat.com, your compact equipment provider.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto. Central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center provides optimum care for the whole person. Dr. Dimo Popov specializes in the prevention and diagnosis of high blood pressure, kidney disease, diabetes, and acute and chronic conditions. Our weight loss clinic offers lipo shots and a guide to healthy weight loss. Alex City Internal Medicine and Nephrology and Weight Loss Center, where lifestyle changes are made.
When the Lake Martin area wants country, it turns to Kalijah Country 97.5. Lake Martin's best country.
Goes like 1 margarita, 2 margarita, 3 margarita shot. And if the house just keeps on winning, I got a wild card up my sleeve. Now it's grandpa's never died.
Lake Martin's best country is on Kalijah Country 97.5.
Re-elect Richard LeGrand Sr., Lee County Commissioner, District 5. Why? Work with the Beauregard community with the EF4 tornado devastation to sort through debris, help restructure lives for the people that lost homes, establish Juneteenth as a paid holiday in Lee County. A playground at Lochapoka to include 4 acres with a playground, service, organized trash collection on Lochapoka roadsides. Whether you vote absentee ballot or you go to the polls, please re-elect yours truly, Richard LeGrand Sr., Lee County Commissioner, District 5. Paid for by friends of Richard LeGrand Sr.
For more than 40 years, Ingram Equipment Company has helped companies, towns, and cities with their dirtiest, most challenging jobs by providing the very best equipment and by helping them keep in tip-top working condition. IEC represents leading manufacturers such as Heil garbage truck bodies, Timco sweepers, Step pothole patchers, and many more. We proudly support all athletes and teams that compete across the state and wish them good luck this year. Ingram Equipment Company, ingramequipment.net.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill in Sunshine Heating and Air here in hour number 1, about halfway through.
the first hour. We'd love to hear from you. Give us a call, 256-234-6221. Jim said, can Jimmy Rain cut some deals so Auburn can lay some wood on the football field? I mean, good puns there, Jim.
Well, it is sort of a sticky wicket, right? I mean, if you are in Texas, let's say you're in Houston, which is probably, I mean, it may be more A&M, but let's say it's about A&M, Texas divided, and let's say you funnel all your money into A&M players. I mean, do you alienate some of your potential customers?
True.
I mean,
True.
does Jimmy Rain want to spend a bunch of money on Auburn players and nothing on Alabama players and risk upsetting some potential customers? Now, he's got so much money it may not matter. I'm just saying I'm not.
No, you're just using hypothetical.
I'm just saying that it's things like that you have to also take into consideration.
Plus, I don't think this thing was designed to go back and ask the same booster for $5-10 million.
That's the
year.
unsustainable part.
That's right. I mean, you can't just keep asking the same person every year. Hey, I want to know. We got to have this other player. I got to have this other player.
Brett, we are the. Hey, I was hoping you'd help out the blank, whatever cause it is, capital of Alabama. If you ask me, the folks come around LA City. There's always something somebody's asking for. Now they're all worthy causes,
right?
But for the most part, they go to the same people.
They sure do,
because our pool is a little bit smaller, and every now and again you just like I don't care what you need money for. It may be for the greatest cause ever.
Out.
I just don't have any more money allocated for that.
That's right.
Now, could I give you money? I'm sure I could.
Right.
But I just don't have any more for that.
Unfortunately, I think every business has a budget, and they have a certain amount that they allocate for stuff like that to help local teams and local dance teams and cheerleaders and the band and the football team and whatever else comes along. And once they've tapped out, and some get some and others don't, and it's just part of it. And you're right. I mean, I think it does lend itself to show you how generous a lot of these businesses really are, because it's very rare that they tell anybody no, and they give them something, no matter what it is. The SEC will reportedly discuss the possibility of creating its own playoff during league meetings coming up in Destin. ESPN reported Monday that models for an intra-SEC postseason, one that could house as many as 8 teams, will be on the table during the meetings. Uncertainty looms over college football's postseason format beyond 2025, which is the final year of the college football playoffs' existing contract. Well, there's nobody out there that doesn't think that they'll get that contract renegotiated and they'll extend it and it'll carry on. In the meantime, the SEC will be meeting next week, and they will be discussing. And this is, to me, where you're coming into the play of superiority. You're coming into, hey, the SEC's kind of dictate. It was back in the COVID deal. You had some of these leagues, so we're just not going to play. And the SEC said, well, we are. And then the Big Ten said, well, we're going to follow what the SEC did. And all of a sudden, the Big 12 and the Pac-12 are like, crap, I guess we need to start playing too, because all we're going to do is get further and further behind. So all of a sudden, once again, the SEC set the bar. The SEC kind of told college football, I don't really care what the heck the rest of you do. We're going to play a 10-team schedule, and then we're going to go have an SEC championship game. And then if we have to just turn around and play each other again, we'll play each other again for a national championship, if that's what it is. I really think that's where this was all born. And I think the SEC is the driver of the bus. And the rest of college football and college athletics is at the mercy of what they decide to do. If the SEC were to say, you know what, y'all, we'll compete through 2025, but we just picked Oklahoma and Texas up, and we don't really need anybody else. Okay, y'all go have fun with yourself. We got plenty over here, and I can promise you where most of the great players in the country are going to want to play, and it's going to be with us. Is that fair enough to say?
I think it's very fair, and I think it's certainly okay. I mean, look, again, I enjoy college football. I enjoy all aspects of it. But if you were to tell me, hey, tomorrow Oregon State and Rutgers and Purdue,
nobody cares,
and Iowa State,
nobody cares,
were to go away, and because USC and Washington and Michigan and Ohio State and Penn State are going to join in with the SEC,
Right.
along with maybe a couple other Notre Dame.
This is going exactly how we thought it was going to go.
I can live with that.
There's going to be 30 teams, give or take, maybe not even that many, that end up surviving all this. It'll be the teams in the SEC, and it'll be the sprinkling of a few good teams in the Big Ten, the
Miami,
Pac-12, in the ACC, and then it's going to be it, man. And that's what it's going to boil down to, and it's going to be what we all thought was a split from the NCAA into a super conference, and everybody will figure out how to schedule themselves in that conference, and then they'll have their own playoff, kind of like what the SEC is talking about right now, and then that'll be your true champion in college football, and that's really where it is now anyway. Idaho has no chance. Boise State has no chance. Purdue has no chance. Northwestern has no chance.
Wake Forest has no chance.
They have no chance.
That's what I was about to say.
Well,
Brett,
that's
if you
what I'm
told us today that – and again, I keep having this visual of Vanderbilt just sitting in the corner going, I'll tell them. Because Vandy's just – they are so fortunate to be in the SEC right now. But if you were to say, hey, Tulane and Wake Forest and Oregon State and, I don't know, Iowa State – and Rutgers, they're just not involved in college football anymore. I don't know that any of us bat an eye. But if you said there's no more Ohio State, there's no more USC, there's no more Texas, no more Alabama, all of a sudden everybody goes, I need college football.
Right.
Those are 4 of your top winningest programs ever.
I had a talk with the guy this past week, and he's a Southern Miss graduate, Southern Miss fan. He said, look, man, he said, we all get it. He said, our football program's dead in Hattiesburg. He said, as of 10 years ago, we could still compete with Alabama and Auburn and have a competitive game, and every once in a while sneak up and win and, surprise some people.
Brett Favre?
That's right. He said that is no longer ever going to be the case. He said we cannot get the caliber of player. He said especially now with he said we hadn't been getting it in the last 7-8 years. He said we're surely not going to get it now. And he said if we were to play Auburn or Alabama now, we'd get beat by 60. And he said we do have a good baseball program, and we have some things, but we've already seen the death of some of these teams and programs, Luke, that we grew up in the 80s and 90s going, well, you don't want to play them. That's not really an off week, even though they're out of conference. You don't want to play Southern Miss, or you don't want to play Louisiana Tech. All that's gone now.
Well, look,
I mean, it's over.
Because if Southern Miss were now able to get a Brett Favre just by pure happenstance,
he'd be there 1 year.
He'd be there 1 year and be in transfer portal. He'd be gone. Because
Right.
What do we know Brett Favre? Not for anything he did at Southern Miss except beating Florida State, Alabama, and Auburn.
In the same year.
Yeah, I think they were all in the same
They
year. I
were
think
in
that's right.
1990.
So that's all we know him for.
Right.
If he hadn't played against Alabama, Auburn, and Florida State, if he hadn't played those games, everybody'd be like, who is this guy? Now, he would have gone on to NFL stardom regardless.
Right.
But my point is that sort of kicked off
It did.
some of that beauty. And I've been to Southern Miss, and God bless.
Well, you and I both.
We've
together.
been there. The facilities are not good.
No.
I mean, if you can – you
have to walk from the bottom of the field, you have to walk from the field all the way up through the stands to the press box, then you've got an antiquated.
Now, unless they've done a lot to the press box recently, they still had a bathroom nearby that was just a men's trough. It was awful.
No, that thing was 1940, 50.
It looked like something now, comparatively speaking, it's like something you would say, this is where the people who just that belongs to some kind of shelter. I mean, it is awful. And when you compare it to any facility in the SEC, it's not even close.
No.
And so part of this is Southern Miss fault that they didn't keep up.
Yeah, they didn't keep up, but they just do not have the resources to even come close to keeping up now. True. And so it has left them. And I thought the guy was very upfront and honest. And he said kind of what you and I have been saying the last month or so. He said, look, it ain't going to just be us. He said, this thing is about to infect. He said, this is a disease that's infecting all of college football. And he said, there's only going to be a very select few that can stay up. And he said, and it's so ironic because he had not talked to any of us about this. And he had the same conversation that you and I had a few weeks ago on the show. And he said, college football, as we know, it's over. Well, he said it's over.
And that's true. But his wording's interesting, and I know his perspective. Frankly, I would love it if we still had, if we still had space for everybody, if we still had space for Southern Miss and Fresno State. Or
yeah, what is
whatever,
this going to do for UAB?
I'd be fine. But he called it a disease, and I think it's also, you could call it progress, because let's also call a spade a spade. Southern Miss is not bringing a lot to the table in terms of eyeballs. When Southern Miss is on TV, it is not a primetime game because nobody wants to watch that. And so when they're not pulling their weight anymore, you almost have to cut it loose. It's just like any business model. If Disney has several channels, CNN recently had CNN Plus. It took them about 15 seconds to realize this ain't working.
Right.
So they cut it loose, even though they had to take a big loss, but they realized it's better to do this now.
Cut your losses.
Cut your losses.
No doubt. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area a team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with a service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
You already know the power and reliability of a Mahindra tractor. Get ready to meet their ATV and UTV lines. Haul more and tow more. Do more. Reaching speeds up to 60 miles an hour. Models have a 12-inch ground clearance and the ability to haul up to 1,200 pounds. There's a Mahindra utility vehicle and a model specifically to get the job done. Test drive today at Lake Martin Tractor and Outdoor. Serving Tallapoosa, Coosa, Clay, and Talladega counties. 256-392-3613.
Hi, I'm Scott Blake.
I'm Angie Richardson, and we are the loan team here at Movement Mortgage.
Whether you're a first-time home buyer or you've gone through the process before,
Our mission is to help you move forward with the purchase of your future plans. Call me at 256-397-2771.
or call me at 256-794-1003.
Scott Blake, NMLS number 527945. Angie Richardson, NMLS number 216556. Movement Mortgage supports equal housing opportunity, NMLS number 39179. For licensing information, please visit NMLSConsumerAccess.org.
Hey guys, this is Nate Paz with Airport Motors.
I'm Connor Branch with Fairway Auto Brokers in Opelika, Alabama.
And this is your first ever Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz.
That's right, Lake Martin. Airport Motors and Fairway Auto Brokers is teaming up for the very first Lake Martin Summer Car Blitz. Make sure to check out either website for the very best selection of pre-owned luxury trucks, SUVs, and sedans in East Alabama. Get pre-approved in minutes online and make sure to use the keyword Summer Blitz in the comments section for $500 off internet price. That's keyword Summer Blitz.
Castelluccio Fine Italian Dining in downtown Alexander City is rapidly becoming the region's standard for Italian cuisine, as well as hand-cut filet mignon, fresh Gulf seafood, and the area's best Italian import wine selection. We offer true old-world charm with unmatched hospitality. Like Castelluccio Fine Dining on Facebook to keep up with daily lunch and dinner specials. Also new, we offer catering for your family and small business, so call and order. Castelluccio, downtown Alexander City, where the only thing that rivals the flavor is the dining experience.
You've dreamed about the perfect house, a place to call your own, and a place to not only stretch out, but to grow. Auto Owners protects your house because to you, it's home. That's simple human sense.
Happy to help, man. I was just over there talking to myself anyway.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment here in hour number one of Sports Blitz Live. You can call us 256-234-6221. Kind of expanding on what we were talking about, the SEC no later than 2025 sees its membership grow to 16 teams with additions of Oklahoma, Texas, thus making a hypothetical intra-conference postseason more viable for the league than any other major conference. ESPN also reports that a sour taste remains in SEC Commissioner Sankey's mouth after the college football playoff expansion failed to reach a decision earlier in 2022 despite months of negotiation. Sankey went on to say one variable that shouldn't be underestimated is the SEC commissioner. Excuse me, that Sankey is still mad about the way college football playoff expansion talks collapsed. He said he's been openly vocal about this displeasure, and that's going to guide a league decision. I mean, do we really think this could possibly happen?
No, I don't think this will happen. I think this is a total negotiating ploy, but I think the SEC has made enough of a flex recently to make people realize, quit saying that everybody ought to get in terms of automatic qualifier. That's just dumb. It's just dumb. It's dumb. It's dumb. All you have to do is look and see the best teams have been in the SEC. I mean, the last 3 champions all come from the SEC. A few of the games in the last 5 years have featured 2 SEC teams against one another, and they were the 2 best teams. So it just quit telling us that the Pac-12 is the same. It's not. It's not even close. Quit telling us that the Big Ten is the same. It's closer than the Pac-12, but it's not near the SEC or the Big 12. Quit telling us this. And let's come up with a system that goes, okay, we can sort of combine, we can have different criteria and say, okay, if you're a champion of your conference, that weighs in. But if you're a 3 or 4 loss champion of your conference, should you automatically get a bid? Hell no. No. Come on. I don't want to turn this into basketball where you get hot at your conference tournament, and with a losing record, you get to play for a national championship just like everybody else. That's stupid. Now, we all accept it with basketball because usually those teams get weeded out. But in football, we're going to have so many fewer teams that it could happen. And I don't want a 6-6 team winning a national championship. I think that's dumb.
Well, Florida Athletic Director Scott Strickland, who I worked with at Auburn back in the late 90s as a student assistant, he was an associate SID at the time, and his role, everybody worked football, but he was over baseball. So I literally in 1997 and 98 sat right beside him in the press box at Plainsman Park almost every home game. So I got to know Scott. It's very odd to look at him now as the athletic director at Florida, and where he's moved up. And so, but he said that we have an incredibly strong league, one that will be even stronger once Oklahoma and Texas join. The focus should be on how we as a league use that strength to further position the SEC as we face new realities. I wouldn't be shocked. I'm going to go out on a limb, and I don't know if he desires to do this. And I like Scott, and he was a nice guy when I worked with him. But it sounds to me like when Sankey decides to give it up, Scott Strickland may be in a position to be your next commissioner. I don't know that for sure, but I think what Sankey's saying, I think what Strickland's saying, and everybody else is saying, Luke, is that they know the SEC controls the purse strings. They know they have the power. And the way college football, the landscape's changing, they want to be ahead of the game, and they want to be out front kind of setting the bar. They're not really worried about the other conferences. It doesn't really bother them. They're going to end up doing what they want to do at the end of the day. I think the other conferences are scared to death with the fact that they think the SEC may say, I tell you what, y'all go have fun. We're going to go do our thing.
Well, and see, they should be scared to death. Instead, most of the time these other conferences are going, well, we need to think about the betterment of the sport. No, hey, the SEC has been the betterment of the sport.
Right.
And every other conference seems to take their shots at the SEC. And we've always, as a conference, have always taken the bullets very, very well. And we just keep getting more and more powerful. And that, when you come for the king, you best not miss. And they keep missing. And so now the SEC is king. And I'm not saying that the commissioners of the Pac-12, Big 12, ACC, and Big 10 need to just get on their knees and pray that the SEC allows them to just tag along. But I do think they need to, whoever is holding up these negotiations in terms of, well, we really need auto qualifiers. They need to pull their heads out of their backsides and realize you're about to make it where you have nothing. You better start giving in to some of these things. And also, look at the SEC. Richest, most powerful conference there is. Why wouldn't you want to be out of that?
Well, I think the SEC also thinks, well, we go to these 14 playoffs and we end up playing each other anyway. Why do we need – this is just a waste of time. I mean, if you look at it over the last 4 or 5 years and even all the way to when the BCS started, 99% of the time it was an SEC team.
Yeah, but I don't want that. I don't.
But I'm just saying. I mean, but that's what it is.
I am fine with the idea of 30-something to 40 to 50-something
Well,
teams breaking away.
You just reshape the whole landscape.
But I don't want this to be so regional that, like, I can go to California and talk college football with somebody. But I am much.
Crap, Luke, y'all went to a national championship game and they didn't even know what the hell was going on.
Now that was.
I mean, so what do you mean go to California and talk college football?
That I will say this: that is one area of San Francisco. L.A. next year will be much different than that, and I think San Francisco has ruined their chances of ever getting something like that again.
I just, to me, it's like they're so out of touch anyway. And I think you're right when you said something earlier in the week about, or during, I think the show Saturday, about when USC was hammered so bad by the NCAA,
it took away the
just took away everything out on the West Coast.
It
and
did.
Everybody's like, you know what? I don't care. They're irrelevant. And so I just think that.
But see, now we have a chance.
They're in a bad position.
We have a chance for USC to come back. They've got all these transfer portal guys coming in. They got a good coach and a fun coach. So I think
cheating their butt off.
They probably are, but they have a chance to come back. They have a
Right.
chance to come back, and I think that is good for college football. I know Philip Marshall always says, well, I don't think there's anybody good. I'm telling you, when USC is good, it'll be better out in Pac-12. It's not as interesting when California or, name another, Stanford is really good. It's just not as interesting.
No, you're right. Up against the top of the hour break. Stay tuned. Hour 2 coming your way right after this.
Hi, this is Brian Bice with Bice Motors. With our all-star lineup of Dodge trucks, Jeep, SUVs, and Chrysler cars, we offer the area team dedicated to making your next vehicle purchase a positive experience. Our sales team offers competitive pricing, and we back up all sales with service department second to none. Bice Motors also offers the area's best selection of pre-owned vehicles. Visit Bice Motors at 2133 Cherokee Road in Alexander City.
Guaranteed lowest price. Buy it at Bice Motors.
WOTM is the television provider for all Alabama High School Athletic Association championship events and special programs. WOTM is your home for the Super 7 football, state finals basketball, baseball and softball state championships, the AHSAA weekly show, and WOTM also produced the first ever football playoff show, Super 7 preview show, and reclassification reveal show. Your exclusive home for all things AHSAA is WOTM. Contact your local cable provider to request WOTM to your channel lineup.
I'm Jimmy Goree with Goree's Furniture. We would like to invite you to come shop our huge selection of furniture. But if you don't have time, we have over 2,000 items you can have shipped directly to your home. Go to GoreesFurniture.com, look for 48-hour quick ship. Shop, click, ship, it's just that easy. You can shop us here, or you can shop us online, only at Goree's Furniture.
Your express way to saving.
If you haven't been to Big B Barbecue in Alex City, then you're missing the best barbecue around. Big B has everything from the best pulled or chopped pork, chicken, and beef to cheeseburgers and grilled chicken salads. Bring your friends and family out for a great dinner and sit outside on our beautiful patio, or sit inside and enjoy your meal by the fireplace. So come in and join us and enjoy the best barbecue in the area only at Big B Barbecue, located on Highway 22 West in Alex City.
You want the best opportunity to be successful in life. You deserve that opportunity. Well, you just happens to be in our motto, central to you, central to your success. Your future is right now. Don't wait. Make your dreams a reality by enrolling at Central Alabama Community College. Register today at cacc.edu.
Welcome back, everyone. Hour number 2 of Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air.
I don't mean to cut you off, but
no, go ahead.
Let's talk about potential scheduling for the SEC. Okay, I don't think the all-SEC championship thing is going to happen. I hope it doesn't. But one of the other things they're going to talk about is we got to figure out a way to work out our scheduling. And they either want to have one permanent opponent and rotate 7, so still have 8 games, or have 3 permanent opponents and rotate 6. I like the idea of 3 and 6.
Are they not going to do the pods?
I don't think they're actually going to do the pods, but I mean, if you wanted to look at it this way, these would be pods if you did the 3 and 6 model.
Okay.
But I don't think they're going to do pods in the sense that you won pod 1 and you won pod 2.
Right.
I don't. But okay, so tell me.
Are we in the Gremlins or something?
So, all right, Alabama's. This is the proposal. This is somebody just coming up with, said this is what I think it would be. Alabama's 3 permanent opponents: Auburn, Tennessee, and Mississippi State.
Right.
Now, you say, why Mississippi State, not LSU? Alabama and Mississippi State are closer than any 2 other schools, so I kind of get it. And I feel like if LSU were on that bunch, that's too much. So I kind of get that. Arkansas, LSU, Texas, and A&M. That's a tough trio.
Tough.
At the same time, you're also measuring it against Arkansas. So, I mean, it's like Vanderbilt. I mean, they're going to have a tough trio because they're in Auburn's, Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi State. Alabama and Georgia seem very daunting right now. I think historically Auburn's held up pretty well with both of them. And then you say, why
I'm
Mississippi
really
State?
shocked Mississippi State.
I know. In my eyes, I was thinking Ole Miss may be a little bit more fun.
I was thinking more Ole Miss.
But I think Auburn, in terms of teams you'd rather play,
no, you definitely want to go.
You'd rather play Mississippi State.
That's right.
But I think Ole Miss makes a little bit more sense. But I'm just going to run them down as this guy has them. Florida, now check out these. This is pretty interesting. Oklahoma, Georgia, and Carolina. Carolina and Georgia seem like no-brainers. You could say Tennessee seems like a no-brainer, but that's only been a rivalry. Like, it just got started because of the SEC East, and then it's really kind of tailed off. And Florida, Georgia seems cool. They have played each other for a national championship.
Yeah, right.
Georgia's. Auburn's a no-brainer, Georgia's a no-brainer, and South Carolina's a no-brainer. I feel like all 3 of those are what you have to do.
But you said Georgia's playing Georgia. So you said
no, I said Florida, South Carolina, Auburn.
Okay, no, you said Georgia.
Or did okay?
Yeah.
Okay,
Georgia's
so would be Florida, South Carolina,
Florida, South Carolina, Auburn.
and Georgia. That's pretty good. Kentucky, Missouri, Tennessee, Vandy, and yeah, that seems pretty easy. At the same time, I'm thinking that seems about right because I'm trying to make it make some sense geographically too.
That's a pretty easy.
It is
pod.
It's pretty easy, but it's also Kentucky. So again, I mean,
true.
LSU, Ole Miss, Arkansas, and Texas A&M. Look, I think the pod overall is pretty easy. I think it would have been easier 3 years ago. Now, when you got to play Lane Kiffin, you got to play a rejuvenated Arkansas program, and you got to play.
Yeah, it's not.
It's not super easy. It's not bad.
No, it's not.
Mississippi State is Ole Miss. Again, no-brainer. Auburn and Alabama, of course. Missouri, Kentucky, Ole Miss, Oklahoma, Ole Miss, LSU, Mississippi State, and Missouri.
I hadn't heard any Texas yet.
Well, I'm going alphabetically.
Okay, I'm just saying I hadn't heard anybody have Texas.
Oh, you haven't? That's true. Well, you get them now. Oklahoma gets Texas, Florida, and Missouri. Okay, I can buy that.
Okay.
I think they have to have Texas. We talked about the Florida thing, and then you got to throw them someone in there, and it might as well be Missouri.
I'm waiting to hear what Texas are.
South Carolina is Georgia, Florida, and Vandy. Again, I find that to be fair.
Okay.
Texas, A&M, Oklahoma, and Arkansas.
I was about to ask.
God,
surely,
that's an awesome pod.
Surely they have to have A&M back in the mix.
Well, they've got A&M back there, and they get Arkansas back in there, which they've sparked up their own little rivalry
It's like
again.
back to Big 8.
I dig it. Tennessee, Bama, Vandy, and Kentucky. Okay, Tennessee probably gets a bit of a break here because they get Vandy and Kentucky. Now, Kentucky's been better than Tennessee over the last decade or so.
But not in the long haul.
But Tennessee, we know, has more money and more potential. Right. But I feel like, again, not these pods aren't going to be like totally equal all the time. But then A&M has Texas, Arkansas, LSU. That's pretty stout. And then Vandy, and nobody gives a dang. So Alabama, this is what it would be. You would rotate the teams, the other 6.
Right.
You would have like groups of 2 that you would rotate every year, right? So a potential schedule for Alabama. They play Auburn, obviously, Tennessee, and Mississippi State. Those are all the time on there. Then 1 year they'd play those 3 along with Kentucky, Florida, Oklahoma, South Kakalaki, Texas A&M, and Missouri. The next year they'd play Arkansas, LSU, Texas, Vandy, Georgia, and Ole Miss with those. All of a sudden you're like, that seems kind of right. Auburn, and we won't go down all of them, but I'll just do Auburn's. So they obviously play Alabama, Georgia, and Mississippi State. And then year 1 they'd play those 3 along with Arkansas, Missouri, Texas A&M, LSU, Vandy, and Oklahoma. The next year they'd play those 3 along with Carolina, Kentucky, Florida, Texas, Ole Miss, and Tennessee. And you rotate them so you play in everybody's schedule once every 4 years.
It keeps everything interesting.
I think that's very fair. I mean, as fair as it can be, look, you can't really do fair when you're talking about comparing LSU and Vanderbilt. They're not in the same area code. Vandy just happens to be in this conference.
Right.
But overall, I think that's pretty good to me, Brett.
I don't have a problem with it at all. I mean, I think we've been so used to playing, all the teams in our division and then having the 3 that we play from the other division and, then the rotator and all that kind of stuff. And then we fill in the blanks with non-conference opponents or whatever. But I like this. To me, this kind of keeps things fresh.
Kind
of keeps it fresh.
Brett, we've had a 14-team conference since 2012. Georgia hadn't been to A&M yet. They hadn't been there yet.
That is crazy.
It's nuts.
It's hard to believe. I wonder what other matchup. This will be the first time Missouri's been to Auburn.
Yeah.
This will be the first time.
No. Missouri went to Auburn a few years ago, didn't it?
They've never been to Auburn. This will be the first year they've ever come to Auburn.
Really?
They've never been to Auburn. This year's the first time they've ever played it during there. So, I mean, there's another example. I'm sure there's others out there.
Yeah.
So, but it would have to be with Missouri and A&M, kind of being tied in. And
I agree.
We went to Missouri last year or year before
It was
last.
Kerryon Johnson's year.
Yeah, so 17 then.
Yeah.
Or maybe 18 when the next year. I can't remember. But anyway.
I seem to remember Auburn beating Missouri pretty good in Auburn one year.
Well, you must have been.
Maybe I was dreaming.
So either that or I am. I'm pretty sure they did not. So up against another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz Live right after this.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
From the smallest drippy faucet to drain cleaning to water heater replacement to gas lines to total systems replacement, A&M Plumbing handles it all. Visit amplumbing.net today for the experienced, licensed, and insured pros at A&M Plumbing.
A&M Plumbing, A&M Plumbing, service at its best when you need it most.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Okay, somebody's not wearing their seatbelt.
I don't wear seat belts. Might wrinkle my shirt.
That's okay. I'm sure they can iron it before the funeral.
What funeral?
Yours. Almost 70% of people who die in car crashes aren't wearing a seatbelt.
Okay. There. You happy?
Just happy to be alive.
Seatbelts. It's hard to live without them. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
It's time to crank for bank. April 1st through July 4th, you'll be fishing Lake Martin for a chance to win big. With a $100 registration, you'll be fishing for $1 million from Big Fish Real Estate Group and Point Broadband, a 2022 Bass Cap Bass Boat from Russell Marine, 2022 Skeeter Bass Boat from Ashley Outdoors, a 2022 Chevy truck from Lake Martin Cabinetry and Allen Embry Premier Chevrolet, or catch a $1,500 tagged fish. Brought to you in part by Dunning Roofing, Lake Martin Tourism, Mortgage Pro, Fishing Chaos, and Lake Broadcasting. Visit Crank, the number 4 bank.com for details.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill. And Sunshine Heating and Air, about 45 minutes or so left in tonight's show. Just some quick things. We won't go through all this. But SEC returning production in 2022. And I think there's something to be – some of this can be deceiving, but some numbers stand out. And we're looking at passing yards, receiving yards, rushing yards, and O-line snaps. And then on the defensive side, we'll look at tackles, sacks, pass breakups, and interceptions. So basically you're looking at who's got a veteran team coming back, who returns most of their production. In the passing category, from passing yards, Alabama returns 96.8 because they've got Bryce Young returning. Vanderbilt returns 97.8. So, again, it doesn't really matter sometimes because 97% of Vanderbilt's returning passing yards don't really matter as much as somebody that has lesser than. Arkansas, Kentucky, Mississippi State return 100%. All right, if you look at Auburn, 26.5%. Is that good or bad?
It's misleading because Auburn is bringing in Zach Calzada,
right,
who was responsible for a lot of A&Ms.
That's right, and A&M is only returning 12.7. So there, Calzada comes over, and I don't think there's any doubt in my mind that Zach Calzada, unless he's hampered with an injury, will be the starting quarterback for Auburn. Now we'll see. If it's T.J. Finley, then I don't really know what to say. Georgia.
I know who's not going to be watching me in the games. Terry.
Terry will not be tuning in. He pretty much told you that today. Georgia, 80.9%. Just some interesting stuff there when you look at it from that standpoint. You look at receiving yards. I want to look at Alabama's, 24.1%. So they're going to have a fresh group out there for Bryce Young to be throwing to.
Yeah, and again, it's even fresher than you think because they've got Burton and Harrell coming in that are again, the returning production is misleading because Burton was
right.
I think Georgia's leading receiver, and then Harrell was Louisville's leading receiver.
Right.
So they're coming in, and so it is a little bit misleading, but still, it's going to be so tough to follow any of these statistics from now on because of the transfer.
Because, these are going to become more irrelevant as we move forward. LSU and Georgia have the most at 73.3% for Georgia, 75.3%.
And I bet the 70% of LSU's is Keyshawn Butte.
No doubt, which
that guy's awesome.
Y'all thought y'all were going to get in.
I think Alabama had a legit shot, but I think it was also going to be tough for him to transfer. It's tough to transfer from LSU to Alabama right this minute. I mean, if you live in Louisiana. If you live in California, you can do it no problem. If your family's living in Louisiana, it's probably not the smartest move.
No doubt about it. Auburn returns 58.1% of their receiving yards. I don't really know how to read into that. They've got fresh faces that are going to be out there as well. It's going to be a total different look for Auburn offensively. Rushing yards, this could be interesting right here. Mississippi State returns 100%. Vanderbilt 99.8%, Kentucky 95.2%, Auburn 85.3%. So that's Jacquez Hunter, Tank Bigsby, and pretty much that's it there. Tennessee with 81%. Alabama with 38.9% of their rushing yards.
Again, now you're bringing in what some people think is the best running back in the country in Gibbs, and you had so many injuries last year. The one guy that left was taking the bulk of the carries towards the end of the year, so it makes sense to me. You're only having that much returning.
Okay, O-line snaps. This can be good or bad in this world we live in now. Alabama with 54.6% of their O-line snaps returning. That's not bad. I would think that would be about where you would be now. If you're returning over half of your offensive linemen, you feel good about it. LSU only 36%, so they'll have a young, inexperienced offensive line. Auburn 74.5%, Tennessee 90%, South Carolina 89%. Those are the highest in O-line snaps, and Auburn is faced with a situation where the O-line has been an issue for them, but could be a strength this year based on some of these guys that have been injured. If they can stay healthy and if they can get some continuity going and if they can get a passing game going to open up the run game, it could be good. We'll see. I mean, we tend to say that in this day and age now, if you got a bunch of fifth-year seniors, you got a bunch of guys that weren't very good. So we'll see. I think the problem will be for Auburn when these guys decide to leave or when they leave this year, trying to fill some of those holes. Okay, on defense.
But you can also fill those holes pretty quickly with the transfer portal now.
You can. Again, these stats really moving forward will probably be less relevant than ever. All right, tackles on defense. Alabama returns 64.9%. That's third highest in the league. They've got a nasty defense. Vanderbilt returns 72%. Mississippi State returns 75%. Auburn only returns 45% of their tackles on defense. The lowest in the whole bunch is Arkansas at 21.6%. So, man, they lost a bunch on defense.
Well, yeah, and then, of course, I think about their losing Burks, who's now in the NFL with the Titans. That's going to be a big blow for them.
Sacks, Auburn returned 72.2. A lot of that had to do with Derek Hall on the front. Alabama right behind Auburn at 68.4%, along with Tennessee at 72%. Mississippi State has 77.7%. A&M with the least amount in the league at 25.6% from the sacks. Pass breakups, South Carolina is top of the class, 87.1%, along with Mississippi State at 86.4%. Auburn and Alabama. Alabama falls in the middle at 51.2%. Auburn is at the bottom along with LSU. Auburn with 34.5%, LSU with 28.1%. So Auburn in that secondary, losing Roger McCreary, losing Smoke Monday, having to replace some very valuable players. And that's another reason why Auburn was kind of middle of the pack to below on tackles, because those guys came up from the secondary and made a lot of tackles. Interceptions, Auburn is dead last at 33.3%. Alabama is at 60%. Mississippi State leads the conference in returning interceptions at 81.8%.
Well, Mississippi State returns like 17 starters, and so they return 100% of their passing, 100% of their running. I mean, they could be a bit
everybody's kind of said watch Mississippi State.
They could be tricky, but again, I'm going to have to see them do it a little more consistently. They did beat Texas A&M last year. People forget that they did.
I look on down against Mississippi State leads 3 of the 4 categories, and they're second in the pass breakups. So they lead in tackles, lead in sacks, second in pass breakups, and they lead in interceptions. So from a defensive standpoint, I mean, they really don't have a lot of excuses, man. They got most of what they've got coming back.
And I was just talking to you, I think, off air about Texas A&M. Everybody talks about Alabama A&M next year. A&M has a stretch before the game at Alabama where they have Miami at home. That will be no pushover. Then they play that Arkansas game in the Arlington that they do every year. Then they go to Mississippi State before they get to Alabama. They could easily lose 2 or all 3 of those games before they got to Alabama. You talk about taking the luster off a game really quickly if that happens.
Big time. Yeah, that could take a lot of shine off of it, no doubt about it. So that's just kind of a fun little look at a glance at what all the SEC teams have coming back offensively and defensively. Auburn and Alabama kind of middle of the road in a lot of these categories. One of concern for Auburn is that secondary. If you look at Alabama's, probably the one that they're concerned with the most maybe, and I don't know that it's a concern because I think they'll have upgrade, but the lowest they scored was in the receiving yard, so 24.1%. They did lose some very, very, very talented receivers, but do you feel good about the guys coming in for Alabama this year?
Yeah, I feel good about Jermaine Burton. I feel good about Harrell. And then some of the young guys I feel good about, but I'm just going to have to see something. The wide receiver is a little scary to me this year for Alabama. Tight end's a little bit scary to me. They lost Jaleel Billingsley, but some people think that's addition by subtraction. So we'll see. But
it does help to have the return in Heisman Trophy.
Yeah, and I mean he can make some people look good, so I feel like that'll be okay. But
early prediction, he win the Heisman again?
No, it's just so hard to repeat. And in fact, I think you'll see.
Who would be the favorite?
I think the best player in college football this year and last year was Will Anderson.
Think he'll win it?
I don't, because number one, he's a defensive player. Number two.
Okay, so you've asked Alabama player who's going to win it. Who would you go out on an early limb and say is going to win the Heisman?
C.J. Stroud, Ohio State.
Really? I just think.
Well, I think their offense is going to be incredibly dynamic, and I think people are not going to want to give it to another player from the South. I mean, you had Joe Burrow win it. You had Devontae Smith win it.
Right.
You had Bryce Young win it. I mean, I think they're sort of like, all right, sick of this. I'm going to give it to somebody else. It could be even Caleb Williams at USC, somebody like that.
Yeah, could be.
Jordan Addison at USC.
Yeah, that could be an option as well. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz right after this.
Whether it's Lake Martin, Lay Lake, or Logan Martin, boaters from all over the state of Alabama come to Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama, because it's worth the drive. With the best deals on unbeatable Suzuki outboards, Manitou and Landau Tritoons, and a great pre-owned inventory while they last. Alex City Marine is the pros the locals know. And no matter where you're from, when you're here, you're local to us. Alex City Marine, just off Highway 280 in Alexander City, Alabama. AlexCityMarine.com.
Sign Source is your local vendor for commercial and residential sign manufacturing and installation. We offer all kinds of lighted and non-lighted signage, from retail signs, LED message centers, event banners, vehicle wraps, the whole spectrum. We also offer service and repair on existing signs, as well as retrofitting to LED or installation of outsourced signage. We have the knowledge necessary to fulfill all of your signage needs in the short or long term. Visit signsourcenow.com to get started.
Heritage South Credit Union in Alexander City is your community credit union, and they have been for over 80 years. Heritage South Credit Union proudly serves Tallapoosa, Coosa, Lee, Chambers, Randolph, and Chilton counties. From checking to business accounts, to share savings to club accounts, to their kids club and investments. Visit them online at myhscu.com. Heritage South Credit Union, your community credit union for 80 years. Federally insured by NCUA. Now is the best time to sell your current home, as it's a seller's market, meaning that on average you can get up to 96% of your asking price. Who's the most aggressive and most experienced to help you sell your home?
Hi, I'm Rhonda Gaskins, broker Century 21 Lake Area Realty in the Lake Martin area. We are getting a 96% return on our listing price to sales price in this area. Call me today and let me go to work for you. 256-749-3644.
LMG Ad Agency is the go-to vendor for all your digital and print marketing needs. We have in-house production for all projects, including graphic design, web design, social media marketing, videography, and print marketing. Our video production is up to industry standard with modern 4K cameras and drone capabilities. We pride ourselves in client-committed relationships, and every project is personalized to your needs. Visit lmgadagency.com for a free quote today. Let us tell your story.
GillsOpelika.info. Get pre-approved in minutes online at GillsOpelika.info for a pre-owned car, truck, or SUV from Gills Auto Sales, 1430 Gateway Drive in Opelika.
Welcome back, everyone, to Sports Blitz Live, presented by JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air. Halfway through hour number 2. Get your calls in if you'd like to give us a call, 256-234-6221 to be part of the program, or you can comment away on our Facebook page at Sports Blitz, that's Sports with a Z. We appreciate everybody that throws their comments out there. We love interacting with you and talking with you, no matter what it might be. SEC baseball tournament. We just talked about Alabama, Georgia. Alabama moves on with a win this morning, and then we've been in delays ever since. South Carolina and Florida, which was supposed to start at 3:30, is just now in the 7th?
Bottom of the 7th.
And it's 1-0 Florida.
Again, I don't know how you play another game after
You're probably not now. You're probably not going to play another game at this point because it's almost 9 o'clock. Well, you got to do 30 minutes after. It's just I don't think it'll happen.
And so you have
you got Ole Miss, Vanderbilt, and then Auburn, Kentucky tomorrow before they even get into the double elimination that was supposed to start at 9:30. So everything's going to be kicked back. I think Alabama was supposed to play Arkansas in the morning at 9:30, but they won't play. They won't play till early afternoon now. So
this may sound crazy, but could you start Ole Miss Vandy at 7 in the morning?
I don't think so.
Why?
I wouldn't think you'd start that early.
Okay, I know you're not supposed to, and I know some of this will be driven by TV, I'm sure, but
we'll see. They'll make an announcement, I'm sure. It kind of leads me to a rule that the SEC needs to change about 3-game series on Sunday. And this is going to sound like sour grapes as an Auburn fan, but it is what it is. Okay, Auburn should have took care of business in Kentucky. I get all that. They lost 2 or 3, and if they'd have won 2 or 3, they'd have been the 4 seed. They wouldn't have to worry about this. They would be in the double elimination bracket. But Auburn and Alabama started at 3 o'clock on Sunday in Auburn, and in the 5th inning, Auburn had bases loaded and 1 out, and it looked like Auburn was really about to start getting things going, and then there was lightning, and then it was delayed, and then it was delayed again, and then it was finally called because there's a time limit in the SEC on Sundays, which is stupid because both schools were out of school. They were both out of semester were over at Alabama and Auburn, so there was no travel problem. But the rules in effect to allow teams to travel and get back in time for class on Monday. Well, don't start a game at 3. And then the reason they started the game at 3 is because the SEC
TV.
Network. Well, the announcers weren't even there. The announcers didn't even they called from their home. So why are you starting it at 3? So start the game. There should be a rule that no game on Sunday should ever start past 12 o'clock or 1. I give everybody 1 o'clock. That's why you see more teams deciding to play Thursday, Friday, Saturday now instead of the traditional Friday, Saturday, Sunday because they don't want to run into this. It cost Auburn. Now, I'm not saying Auburn was going to win, but you would think the way they had things going, it was leaning toward their way. Well, it gave them one less win.
One less game than LSU.
And it cost Auburn the 4 seed.
Yeah, I understand the rule. It seems stupid when it's Alabama playing Auburn because they're so close.
Right. But just don't play a game
but
to put yourself in that position.
That's the thing is, and just like I'm saying, hey, just play at 7 in the morning. You know, I mean, they're college kids. They can wake up. And they probably won't do it because
you remember being a college kid waking up at 7.
But I mean, I've always woke up at 7. But they probably won't do it because of TV. And so TV is the driving force
so
here.
that would be having to get fans in the stands by 6:15, 6:30.
Well, you don't necessarily have to. I mean,
I'm just saying though. But you know, if they want to, that's Alabama. I mean, or it wouldn't be Alabama, but I'm just
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss. I mean, I know you got to make up. You know, when you have rain and you got to get a tournament going. I don't know what they'll decide to do. I'd be very shocked if they started it that early.
But here's the other thing. No matter what you do, there's going to be a team, playing twice in the same day.
I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't be shocked if Ole Miss and Vandy play tonight. I mean, they were expecting to play. I mean, Auburn was scheduled to start at 9:30. So why wouldn't Ole Miss and Vandy just be bumped back and play at night? I bet they play tonight.
Well, the easy thing to do would
and then it'll be just one game tomorrow.
The easy thing to do would be to play Ole Miss and Vandy tonight. And see, but that seems a little ludicrous. I think it seems more ludicrous to still play Vandy and Ole Miss tonight versus letting them play at 7 in the morning, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Now, but if you do that, then you could do the Auburn game at 7 in the morning. Let them be done. Then you do everything else according to schedule.
On time.
And Auburn will just have to play very late at night again. I mean, it sucks.
That's what we'd get.
Yeah, it sucks.
Exactly.
But I mean,
but Auburn's going to have to play twice tomorrow anyway.
Yeah.
If they win.
Well, or if they win.
If they keep the schedule the way it is.
Let's say they win, and then the games get off kilter again, they got to push the schedule. You're going to have to play twice sometime.
I know you're thinking I'm about to pour mouth. I'm a poor mouth Auburn fan. All right, so we just lost 2 or 3 to Kentucky. Guess who we draw? We draw Kentucky again. We got to play them 4 times in a row. It's been pushed from 9:30 tonight till tomorrow morning. They'll probably go with your philosophy and play at 6 o'clock in the morning, and we'll have to play and then have to turn around and play again tomorrow night. I mean, the gap. I mean, just terrible.
It's tough. I mean, it's just the way the thing is, and I think it's kind of bad. Maybe you could change this to a single elimination tournament.
But now you'd have Auburn. Well, now you're gonna have Auburn and Alabama playing back to back in Hoover in Hoover.
No,
I mean tomorrow. Yeah, you will. You'll have Auburn starting.
If Auburn,
and then Alabama's going to play Arkansas.
So that's positive. But I mean, again, I think you got to move some of these times around. But how do you because of TV?
I don't know. Just invoke the stupid Sunday rule.
Yeah.
Well, I can't do anything. It's past 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
So,
I wonder if that holds true for Hoover. Like, what if Brett? What if there's a huge delay Sunday for the championship? You think they'll play it out if it goes past 8?
I think they'll play it.
I do too. But so why couldn't you do that in the regular season?
I don't know. It's a good question. Brian said, "Hey guys, Sorry, been away. My mother is in the hospital, not doing well. Sorry to hear that, Brian. He said, Bama gets Eli Holstein. Congratulations. He said to Luke's son on his graduation, thank you for being a source of encouragement to me. Something I always look forward to. Always love the show. Thanks for having me every week. And he says your words, RTR. So.
All right, thank you. Yeah, Eli Holstein, we talked about at the beginning of the show. I think it's a huge pickup. Really, really good quarterback. I really like him a lot. I know the staff is very, very high on him. I do believe Alabama was pursuing 2 quarterbacks. He was one of them. Arch Manning was the other one. And I do believe both of them had the green light to commit whenever they want to. That's how highly they thought of him. They were not telling Eli Holstein, hey, let's see how it goes with Arch. And then you –
Do you think Arch may have alluded that he was
No, I
looking
think
somewhere
I truly – this is from
reliable
the sources I have enough on this, and then just reading the national tea leaves. I think Arch really is kind of torn here. I think there was part of him that really wanted to play for Nick Saban. I think if it were up to Archie, again, this is me just reading tea leaves, I think he'd be at Alabama. I think he loves Athens, Georgia. Arch does. If it were up to his grandfather, I think he'd be at Alabama. But he loves Athens, Georgia as a college town. But I also think he really likes Steve Sarkisian. Now,
how about the spreading of the Mannings around the SEC if this happens? You had Eli, Ole Miss with his dad. You had
Tennessee
with Peyton, and now possibly.
Well, now Cooper, his dad is his dad with
he's
Ole
the one
Miss
that was
and
injured.
Eli,
He was
and
injured.
Eli at Ole Miss, and then of course he could be at Georgia or Texas. Both of them be in the SEC.
That's
so.
right. But a traditional SEC team.
But I mean, they are the first family of college football.
They are
far and away.
No doubt about it. Up against another break. Stay tuned. More Sports Blitz right after this.
Brubaker Motors in Montgomery is the largest and fastest growing used car dealership in the River region. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker. It's better at Brubaker.com. You can absolutely get a better buy at Brubaker.
BREWBAKER.com.
It's better at Brubaker.com.
At CNT Electric, our clients are our priority. For the safety and security of your family and home, our technicians are professionally trained, drug tested, background checked, and wear uniforms with name tags. We're proud to have served the Elk City, Dadeville, and Lake Martin areas for the past 10 years. Give us a call at 256-234-0007 for all your electrical service and repair needs, or visit us on the web at www.cntelectricllc.com and spell out the word "and."
For almost 10 years, there's been the go-to place for tires and automotive repair, Right Tire. Right Tire sells all makes of tires for anyone's vehicle and anyone's budget. And with Right Tire, you always get the right prompt service with the right price. Right Tire also can handle all of your bumper-to-bumper automotive needs with certified brake service, alignment, oil changes, tune-ups, and so much more. So when you want tires and automotive done right, see Right Tire on West Fort Williams in the heart of Sylacauga. Right work, right price, every time.
Life is a sequence of little successes. The story of my Southern Union success began the day I walked on campus, making new friends, mastering a new skill, reaching a personal goal, the encore performance, the first date, the internship, and now, soon, the dream job. That's the story of my Southern Union success. Register for classes and get ready to watch your Southern Union story come to life.
Become a member of the Superior family. Superior GMC Cadillac, Superior Hyundai, or Superior Automotive Pre-Owned. Between our 3 dealers in East Central Alabama, we offer the superior selection and service for any buyer's needs. All with the personal touch of being locally family-owned and operated. Check out any of our dealers online, or our 3 great lots in Anniston on Quintard, or our pre-owned superstore in Pell City, and join the Superior family of value.
Welcome back, everyone. Sports Blitz Live. A couple segments left. You did have a report. Auburn will be the 9:30.
Apparently, they will be the 9:30 game tomorrow. But the rain is starting right now. We always do this at Tennessee Williams 10 Roof House, I think, because it is coming down right now. I can't imagine that.
Well, this is we've been in a drought for like 2 months, and then the SEC baseball. I mean, we're back to tropical rainforest conditions. It's like 85, 90% chance tomorrow.
And I'll tell you, it actually felt really good today. I thought, like, when it wasn't raining, it felt pretty good.
Right.
Because I'm used to, in Alabama, it's either, it's got a little chill in the air, or you're sweltering. You look over there and there are mosquitoes brushing sweat off their brow.
Didn't you say the mosquitoes up in Ohio were pretty rough?
Oh,
they've even gotten tired of the South.
I had some in Indiana when I was there last week, and I had a bite from one, and I just couldn't even get him off of me. He said, "No, I'm getting some of this." He said, "I've been down south. I'm thirsty."
I can't do it anymore. I'm sweltering here. All right, just a quick note on softball. Texas A&M was eliminated by Oklahoma. No shot there. Oklahoma, the number 1 team.
It was pretty funny. A&M softball, they have their own little social media thing. They tweeted out something like, "Hey, we're within 1 run of the number 1 team in the country." And Oklahoma softball tweeted, like, after the game was over, "Okay, then what happened?" Because the next game they lost by like 13 runs.
Have your moment in the sun. Georgia was eliminated by Duke. Tennessee was eliminated by Oregon State. Auburn was eliminated by number 10 Clemson. Ole Miss was eliminated by number 5 UCLA. Kentucky was eliminated by number 3 Virginia Tech. Alabama was eliminated by Stanford. And then Missouri was eliminated by Arizona. So the SEC just kind of went.
And the strange thing is Mississippi State went over there and beat the number 2 team in the country at their place in Florida State.
So Texas and Arkansas will be at Arkansas. Arkansas by far the best team in the SEC this year in softball.
Are you
Mississippi State and Arizona, and this will be at Mississippi State. So Arkansas will host. Mississippi State will host. So
this is interesting.
Florida got in as well.
Are you pulling for Arkansas to win it all now?
Might as well.
I am.
Who cares? I'm good with it.
I do sort of feel SEC about it.
I do too. I mean, and they've never been really any good.
I'm pulling. They're not going to do it. Nobody's going to beat Oklahoma. But
Arkansas is pretty good. I mean, I'll give them that. They're surprisingly good. Man, they kind of do everything right.
They do.
So they're good defensively. They pitch really well, and they knock the cover off the ball. So the SEC has 3 teams in it. Florida will go to Virginia Tech. Mississippi State will host Arizona, and then Texas will go to Arkansas. So that should be good. A little NBA news. The Heat and Celtics are tied now, 2 games apiece. The Celtics just demolished the Heat last night. The Warriors and the Mavericks are in they're underway right now. I think that's over. Nobody's ever come from a 3-0 deficit before in NBA history. The Warriors leading the Mavericks. Who do you want to see, Luke? It'll be the Warriors and either the Heat or the Celtics. I want to see the Celtics preferably out of this.
Yeah, I'd probably rather see the Celtics, but Jimmy Butler's playing so well, and the Heat are kind of gritty. I look at the East, and I just don't see anybody that's good enough to beat the Warriors, I don't think.
Man, they're back to their old self.
Yeah, it really is. Like, neither one of those teams really lights my fire. If it was Boston old days, even just in the Boston Garden, I don't like that TD Ameritrade place they play.
Yeah, I mean, didn't it? It was awesome to watch. I mean, daggum air didn't work half the time.
And there were dead spots in the
in the floor. You had to know where to dribble. I mean, you just dribbling along, the ball just wouldn't come back up.
I mean, there's something about all of this, new stadiums and fancy and glitzy. That's cool.
Can't we just go back to the old crap holes that we used to love watching?
Let's play the Super Bowl at Hamp Line.
What was the old place in Chicago before they?
Oh gosh,
I mean that place was a dump.
Not the United Center.
No, that's where they are now.
Was it Chicago?
I forgot what it was.
Oh my gosh,
they had to come up steep steps to get to the. I'm like, God, who's going to break their leg getting on the floor? So, but anyway, that's it's been very subdued.
Well, I'll tell you, the NBA is not had a great playoffs to me. I mean, there have been some fun moments. Andrew Wiggins posterized Luka Doncic.
Good Lord.
That was disgusting. And it turned out to be an offensive foul.
No, then they waved it off.
Oh, they did wave it off?
Yeah, they waved it off. They called no foul on either one.
They reviewed
They just reviewed it and counted the bucket.
I was in such disbelief when they called the offensive foul.
Well, he did punch him in the throat. I mean, it wasn't intentional.
I know. So. I get it. But, again, intent shouldn't matter. If it's a foul, a lot of times fouls are unintentional. But he did. He just –
Oh, it was unbelievable.
He cold-cocked him to the floor.
Luka Doncic's a great player, but is he not? It's just odd. I mean, he looks so unathletic.
He does. He looks like a regular dude out there.
He can play, though, man. I mean, as far as his ball handling skills. But I did hear Reggie Miller say he has got to lose some weight to do some things moving forward in his career, to be a little bit quicker. Just stuff that he noticed that could take him even to – I mean, he's unbelievable as it is.
He's such a good scorer.
He is. He's a prolific scorer. That's kind of it in a nutshell. I know you're excited about Major League Baseball.
Well, I'm more excited because the Braves are losing. I know everybody's a Braves fan. I'm not.
The Braves are not very
They're
good.
not doing well. Phillies just tied them up tonight. I just looked it up. I'm kind of excited for the Mets. I mean, I don't care. But the
Mets are running away with
I would like the Mets to win it because I think
they've got a choke in them.
I look at it like
they've
the
got
Mets.
a choke in them.
The Mets need some moments like this. I mean, you know, the Mets are so little brother to the Yankees, and it's not even close. And so I kind of dig the Mets.
And there's a little controversy with Josh Donaldson and Tim Anderson. You know, Tim Anderson from Tuscaloosa.
He is from Tuscaloosa, and then he never played for Alabama. He played for UAB.
Right.
Very interesting.
Just really an odd development.
It is, and I also find it. Look, I get it. If for those who don't know, apparently Josh Donaldson called Tim Anderson something like, go get him, Jackie, referring to Jackie Robinson.
And Tim Anderson
because Tim Anderson used to refer to him. He said, "I think of myself as a modern day Jackie Robinson."
Right.
So if you say that, I feel like that should take the edge off it. But if you do consider it, if he did take offense to it, in this climate, it's never good to even push the envelope at all about something that could be even obliquely racist. You don't want to get there. But I think it would be easy enough for Tim Anderson to say, Tim Anderson has really been fighting back with this. Like, I don't want to be his friend. I don't want to do this. To me, Tim Anderson's having a little bit of Jimbo Fisher stuff here. Right. It's such an overreaction that you're looking like the bad guy. Like, all you'd have to say is, yeah, he said that, and I know where he was coming from, but, I wish he wouldn't. I don't think you need to say something like that.
I just don't see it being directed that way because he said that about himself. And I think that was a jab back at him saying, look, buddy, Jackie Robinson, one of the best players ever play the game. I think you need to take a step back a little bit. That's one of those things. That's how a lot of people.
Nobody should compare themselves to Jackie Robinson. Nobody's going to be that. So I feel like that's a little much, but that's my point.
I mean, that's kind of bolsterous it'd be like Josh Donaldson saying, hey, man, I'm Babe Ruth.
Yeah,
I'm a modern-day Babe Ruth. That's how I play. You put yourself out there when you say stuff like that.
And here's the other thing, Brett. And again, if it can be considered racist, maybe just think twice about it before you say something. But the other side of that coin is everybody loves to talk about equality and everybody wants to be accepted and do. Well, when you call yourself Jackie Robinson, somebody may call you Jackie and mean it in a way like sarcastic in the sense that nobody's Jackie Robinson, so don't do that.
Right.
It has nothing to do with his being black. I just think that it was probably something that shouldn't have been. It was a bad joke that got blown up.
I think that's
and
exactly
I think
what
that
happened.
it's okay if Tim Anderson were to say, it made me mad in the moment. It pissed me off in the moment, but I'm over it now.
Right.
And I don't necessarily want to be friends with him, but it's not that big a deal.
We got to go to break. Last segment. You don't want to miss this one. This will be a pretty fun one here for Luke. I'm going to test him and see what he knows. So stay tuned. Last segment coming up right after this.
So, you finally got the boat, ATV, or side-by-side of your dreams, huh? Then make it yours with marine-grade audio that'll provide crisp, high-quality sound that's loud enough to be heard, whether you're cruising on the lake or hitting a mud hole. Come see Steve at the Car Stereo Shop in Auburn, so you'll be ready to crank up the volume. Whoa, but wait, you don't have to pull out of the water and trailer it to Auburn. The Car Stereo Shop can handle all of your work at any one of the Lake Martin marinas.
Finding a job might be tough, but starting your new career has never been easier. Wellborn Cabinet in Ashland has a wide array of career opportunities with benefits. General labor production, skilled cabinet builders, product assembly line, shipping, over-the-road truck drivers, clerical, marketing, security, daycare, office clerks, and so much more. Apply in person, 38669 Highway 77 South in Ashland, or online at wellborn.com. Building cabinets, building careers, and building our community.
At Russell Medical, our transitional care unit is a great alternative to nursing home care after a medical or surgical hospital stay. Transitional care increases strength and endurance through skilled nursing and therapy programs to promote a safe return home. Enjoy on-site therapy, private rooms, an activity center, and more. Call Russell Medical today to see if our transitional care unit is the right care for you.
Skag, the toughest name in lawnmowers. Unmatched quality and performance for over 3 decades. The clear choice, the best mower money can buy for work or at home. Top lawn care professionals and discerning homeowners know that Skag means productivity and reliability. Every Skag mower is proudly built right here in the USA. Don't settle for anything less than simply the best. Skag.
Satterfield Outdoor Living on Highway 280 in Alex City.
Something big is coming. Something so big, it'll change the world of chicken sandwiches. Zaxby's new signature sandwich with Zax sauce or new spicy Zax sauce. Because the chicken sandwich war ain't over yet. The new signature sandwich. All the other little sandwiches can run along. We'll take it from here.
Welcome back, everyone. Final segment of the show. A little fun time here. Bill Paxton, born on this day in 1955, or Bill Pullman. So he's also born.
Are they both dead?
I know Paxton is. Is
Yeah.
Pullman? I don't know. Maybe he should have done a Dead or Alive on that.
That'd have been good.
All right, here it is.
You could have said which one of them dead or dead.
15 questions. Is it Paxton or Pullman? Number 1, born in Fort Worth, Texas.
Paxton.
Ding, 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 ding. I wish we had a little bell.
Yeah.
So 1 for 1 there. Number 2, the serpent and the rainbow.
Boy, I see the guy's face, but I'm not sure which one it is. I think it's Pullman, but I'm not sure.
Dun, 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 dun. Yep. Pullman, you 2 for 2 there. A League of Their Own.
Pullman.
Ding, 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 ding.
All right.
Now you're just knocking these out, man. 3 for 3. Here comes number 4, Aliens.
That's Paxton, I'm pretty sure. And wasn't he the panicky soldier who was like, man, we got to get out of here?
That's him.
Wasn't that him?
You got it. That's it. 4 for 4. Wyatt Earp, number 5.
I did see that.
Did you not say Wyatt Earp?
I'll take a shot in the dark and go Pullman.
My God, dude, you're 5 for 5. Number 6, Tombstone.
I think that's Paxton, but I'm not sure.
By far Paxton. Okay. He was one of the brothers.
Yeah.
So, number 7, Predator 2.
Oh, boy. All I can remember from Predator 2 is Danny Glover. So
Predator 2.
Let's go Paxton.
I mean, 7 for 7, bro. I mean, we are just rocking and rolling.
This is how I got through chemistry.
This is how you just, hey, I think it might be this. All right, 8, Indian Summer.
I guess I'll go Pullman. I have no idea. I never saw that.
I guess you'll be right again.
Yeah.
I mean, unbelievable. 9, Independence Day.
Okay, he was the president. The question is now I got to remember which one it is because they kind of look alike.
They kind of do a little bit.
It's Pullman, though, I think.
It is Pullman, 9 for 9. Number 10, Lake Placid.
Okay, Lake Placid is a horrible movie. Betty White plays a foul-mouthed woman feeding that giant alligator or crocodile or whatever.
Bad.
Paxton?
Wrong.
Okay, I missed one.
You missed one. So I was actually pulling for you to get all.
Yeah.
I was like, man, he's on a roll up. He gets, okay, so you missed one. You're doing good. All right, 11, U-571.
I never saw that, so I'll go Paxton now.
You guessed it. Okay. You got it. Number 12, Apollo 13. You ought to get this one.
No, I don't, because I've only seen it once.
Really?
I hadn't watched. That's not one I watched.
I mean, this one would be.
I did have a friend one time say, we were talking about Apollo 13, how good it was. She goes, don't tell me. I don't want to know how it ends. Like, okay.
Okay, don't pick a history book up.
Yeah.
Don't look back.
Yeah. You need to just close your eyes for a while.
That's exactly right.
Paxton?
Yes, Paxton. Yep. So, number 13, The Grudge. You got 3 more left.
That's Pullman.
It is Pullman.
Yeah.
Number 14, Sleepless in Seattle.
God, I don't remember anything about that except the Tom Hanks and what's her name? Barely remember her, apparently.
That's right.
I'll go Pullman.
You got it.
Okay.
One more.
Okay.
Can you go 14 or 15? Formed a new age band in 1982 called Martini Ranch.
Okay.
This is another
Paxton.
You got it.
Okay.
So one.
Dang it.
You missed it by
went all the way
one.
through that mother.
One. What was it you missed? Lake Placid?
No.
Yes, it was Lake
was
Placid.
And I know that movie. I mean, I know that movie pretty well. That movie's so bad, and I was so excited for it. That movie's terrible.
Good stuff, Andy, by the way. Luke passed the flying colors.
Yeah, good
man.
job.
14 and 15. We'll see what we can come up with next week. That's going to wrap it up for Sports Blitz Live. It's always fun. We always appreciate all of you out there watching and listening to us. Thanks to JR Sports Bar and Grill and Sunshine Heating and Air and all of our great sponsors that you see throughout our program. We couldn't do the show without them. For Luke Robinson, I'm Brett Pritchard saying we've enjoyed it. We'll hope you have. See you next week.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.
They say we live in an age of big data, where computers and fancy algorithms are supposed to know you best. But at Country Financial, we know helping you own your future requires, well, something much bigger. Contact your local Country Financial representative and start planning for your future with a personal touch.
Hi, John. You have messages.
Not now, phone. I'm driving.
You know you want to text your friends.
Texting and driving is illegal. No distractions, period. People die that way. Eating, putting on makeup.
Scroll through your music?
Nope.
Your girlfriend just texted. She's bored.
Sorry, not worth dying for.
Good call. She seems a little clingy.
Don't text your life goodbye. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat and 2 sides or a meat and 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck Cheeseburger Basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Whoever you are, wherever you race, hit the track like a champion. The YZ250F and the YZ450F Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. Only from Yamaha.
Hi, John. You have messages.
Not now, phone. I'm driving.
You know you want to text your friends.
Texting and driving is illegal. No distractions, period. People die that way. Eating, putting on makeup.
Scroll through your music?
Nope.
Your girlfriend just texted. She's bored.
Sorry, not worth dying for.
Good call. She seems a little clingy.
Don't text your life goodbye. Drive safe, Alabama. A message from your Alabama Department of Transportation.
Are you looking for something really good for lunch? Are you tired of the same old fast food? Well, go to Buck's. Get a meat and 2 sides or a meat and 3 sides for the best deal in town. Buck's always serves up the best food, including fried chicken, wings, hamburger steaks, catfish, shrimp, and yes, of course, the famous Buck Cheeseburger Basket. And Buck's has dinner specials too. So if it's your turn to cook dinner, Buck's will be glad to do it for you. We appreciate your business and look forward to serving you.
Whoever you are, wherever you race, hit the track like a champion. The YZ250F and the YZ450F Monster Energy Yamaha Racing Editions. Only from Yamaha.
Fast, fresh, and friendly. That's the Allen Brew Market mission to our customers on the go. Allen Brew Markets of Talladega County fuel your vehicle and you with the best coffee, drinks, snacks, and food so you can get your day on the fast track. Allen Brew Markets are always convenient with Sylacauga locations on Main Avenue, Highway 280, and Old Birmingham Highway. Allen Brew Markets has everything for the family on the go, and we're always brewing up great specials. Fast, fresh, and friendly, our guarantee to you.
Tails are wagging and pets are bragging about Zoom to Groom. Columbus, Phoenix City, and Smith Station. Zoom to Groom comes to you. It's mobile pet grooming from the comfort of your driveway. Schedule your appointment now online at zoomtogroom.net or by phone at 334-740-9909.